Yes, but it is not to say that, yes, this is the right time for you to buy. First of all, for me, my advice is that you have to establish the value of what you are buying. But you will find out that even before the end of the month, you must have exhausted the money. That you both the main salary and the bonus. Trying to prepare, trying to buy things. And even some they will even spend all their savings from January to November.
Why do you think January is somewhat the most brutal year? It first of all feels like the longest. Mm-hmm. Financially, why is January the hardest year financially for most Nigerians? It's the most wonderful time of the year. It is dirty December, guys. And everywhere is already bubbling. In fact, if you go out like this and you just take a deep breath, you can literally smell Christmas. And if you are not careful with your spendings this December, you just see that your January has 57 days. Don't ask me how that happens. But that aside, what if I told you December is one of the best months to invest? Yes, I said that right. And to help me unpack this, to tell us the smartest, best ways to invest in December, I have with me one of the brightest minds in this field, Mr. Idika Ajah. Welcome, Mr. Idika.
Shego, thank you very much. Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning. So one thing that I like best about December, Mr. Idika, and you can beg to differ, is that investing in December, I see it as some sort of point of reflection. You get to see how far or how well you've done throughout the year, and your projection for the coming year, which is just a few weeks away. What do you think about investing in December in general?
Well, one, you said it is 30 December. Yes. Well, people cash out. People usually invest. So it depends on your objective and what you really want to do and what you really want to achieve.
Okay.
People spend a lot in December, and people.
Yeah, but why is that even a theme? Like, is it something that is why do people like to spend a lot in December? Because come to think of it, December is just like every other month. Yes, I understand Christmas, but it's still 30 days. Why do you think people get to spend extravagantly in December?
That's why they call it festive period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I call it a non-social issue. Somehow cultural issue. People are already used to that. That is a festive period. Not like you have Easter and down there in the east where you have what they celebrate New Year's festival. So it's a norm.
Okay.
It's a social factor, a social issue that people tend to invest because on the period people celebrate, the birth of Jesus Christ and so on. So it's a social issue.
Spending.
Yeah.
And so if that reminds me of that Igbo song, when December, look, I know I hear ego. Ego means money. Yeah. What does that particular phrase mean? When December, ego.
On December, go. That the Christmas period is coming and it has to do with money.
You must spend.
That's the thing.
Okay. So let's now get to investing. What sort of investments should we be looking at this December? Short term, long term, and the in between. Let's get to investing.
Sure, but that was easier. For instance, most of these things is very simple. You have to totalize it and use examples to illustrate it so people can understand. In investment, first you have to talk on savings and how to save, and through your savings you invest. But unfortunately, during the festive period, December, we have multiple spend what they have saved throughout the year, for the whole year, and they spend it. But talking of investment, it really depends on actually what you want to achieve. We mention of being maybe long term, mid term, or short term. But the best thing and the most important thing is to define your investment objectives. What do you really want to achieve? That is the key thing. So once you have that, say, okay, fine. Say, okay, I want to invest for a short period of time. I don't really subscribe that idea that you must only invest in December. It depends on available options for you and the prevalent situation, the prevalent maybe indicators, to social indicators, economic indicators, operating indicators that can now tell you whether to take a position in December or wait till January.
Okay, because I like the fact that you did speak to savings. For instance, if somebody, for example, if someone gets a 13th month, would you advise the person saves it traditionally, the usual savings we know, or just put it to a money market fund?
You have to ask yourself, what am I looking for? What the most important thing? Because anything that does not give you return is not an investment. If you take that to your savings now and can put it under your period for 30 days, will you call it an investment?
No.
Because it's not giving you any return. So, what will influence whether to spend your 13th month, where to put it, depends on the return you are going to get. If you go for traditional savings,
okay,
what's the return?
Okay.
If you go for a stock, what is the return? If you go for featuring corner 6, what's the return?
Okay.
Let's see, if you go for managed funds, like mutual funds, what is going to be the return? So it is the return that will now direct you on what to do. And secondly, the risk profile of that asset class. So two of them will give you an idea whether or where to the asset class to put it or not. So if you are looking for a low risk investment, of course you go for free risk assets like government securities. So you can put it there. You are sure that definitely you get it back. But the problem is that whether it will give you return, I can outpace inflation. Because if you cannot outpace inflation, it means that the real return is negative. That is not too good for you. So these are the things you have to consider before you decide whether to use your 30 month to invest or where to put it or even to invest. You can equally decide to can spend it. So it depends on what you want. You want the ability of that enjoyment. Okay, fine. And then you get value when you go to beach, you go this one, you spend, go to nightclub and so on. So you are derived with please. But it's not giving you any return. So, but if you decide to maybe put it in, let's say, government through risk assets, I will give you a return. Decide to put it in equity, I will do a return. So it depends on what you want.
Okay, so most of the assets, or should I say investment method that you mentioned now, are pretty much long term. And December is a very short month and people want to get their ROIs very quickly. So, and still they're scared of, losing money. So what are the things people should look out for to be sure that, legitimate platforms to invest in, short-term investments?
Now, before we go into that, let me just correct something you said. It's not as if that is, most of these things are the assets in message enough. No, it is not. It depends on everything depends on what you want. You can, for instance, you can buy a 90-day treasury bill from federal government and decide to hold it for a month or 2 months. You go to the secondary market and sell it. You can decide to buy a 2-year federal government savings bond and decide to hold it for 3 months. Maybe you buy it in December. I think the federal savings bonds, 2-year, 3-year savings bonds, the option is today. So you can decide to buy. After 1 month, you go to the secondary markets and sell it. So what matters is what is the yield, the effective yield you are going to get. You sell. So that is the thing. But you can hold it for short periods, avoid it in maturity. And the second one, what was the second?
Risk legitimate platforms not getting scammed.
So let me tell you, most people really know the one that's really how they did this. It just includes.
So you think Nigerians actually know?
They know. They know. They know. It's not the only insignificant number that I say, okay, you can say that they come to know. But that said, the most important thing is that you have to find out if you are investing in, if it is investing in federal government and our force, they advertise. So you can easily get it. You understand? You can easily see it. The option is happening today. 2 year, 3 year, 7 bonds. So the DMO will advertise it. And if it is treasury bills, CBO will advertise it. That is on one side. Then if you want to take a position in equities, you understand? It's equally, all you need to do, go to, of course, that one you have to buy through a broker. And before you can even trace, you must have opened a brokerage account. So that's why I said most people, they know which one is scam. There's the one they call this one, say, okay, bring this one, buy this one, by the end of it, say, oh, triple it. Of course, it's a red flag to do it, and this thing can go wrong. So that's it that people don't know. In just the greed, people want to make a quick details.
I also feel like the law of instincts even applies across board. You know, instinct, like you able to, up to an extent, after doing your research, you'll be able to cross and note, if once you identify the red flags, do not ignore it. But now, say I have 50k to 100k to spare December to invest. How best would you say I go about it?
One, that money, that the outlook is very, very, very significant. Yeah, 50 to 100,000. Yeah. So, one, if you want to invest in treasury bill, it cannot go unless maybe you are going through a broker that can now, that can be able to take that and then consolidate with others. Then if you are going for commercial paper, it cannot go because the minimum there is 5 million. So, but the only way you can do that is maybe you want to invest in equities. That means you want to buy stock. You can buy as low as 200 naira, you can buy as low as 1,000 naira, and I'm buying up to 5,000 naira. But that is it's a bit for a longer period because you have to wait for the stock to appreciate or for them to declare dividend before you can make something out of it. Alternatively, you put it in the bank. Then
but it's not yielding now.
It's yielding because that will give you maybe at the end of the month, maybe at the end of every month, they will not tell you, okay, they will not pay that. You can see that each of them at least requires some time before you can now see, okay, you are maybe something. As you are saying, maybe you have up to 5 million naira. Yes, you can use it and maybe if there's any concept you can buy, or even that 50,000, okay, fine. That's something I've forgotten. You can put it in a mutual funds, under any of the mutual funds, money market mutual funds, fixed income or equity mutual funds. That one we are giving it for professional to manage for you, or even if you want to do forex, it's still insignificant. So your context it's not too good for us to be able to put it in perspective properly.
Absolutely agree. And so finally, speaking to January, the month of January 2026, why do you think January is somewhat the most brutal year? It first of all feels like the longest. Financially, why is January the hardest year financially for most Nigerians? January in particular. How does it feel like it has 50 days?
Yeah, why is it like that? Okay, for instance now, so let's start like this. For the month of December, at times some companies, those salary earners, let's use that base, they will pay you, some of them they even pay your full salary maybe mid-month, right? Some of them, they will now pay bonus not at the end of the month. Yeah. But you will find out that even before the end of the month, you must have exhausted the money. That's both the both the main salary and the bonus. Trying to prepare, trying to buy things. If I even some they will even spend all their service from January to November.
You exhaust it in one single month.
It's possible, depending on how much you earn, because that's festive period and you spend a lot. It's possible. We'll do that. Because especially when you have events that you must attend, those who want to travel, how to travel, air flights, or transport, you are going by and so on. So, but let us we are using now an average Nigerians, not people who have really made money. That will not use on average. That is the reason why they have come. By the time you go and come back January, I still have to remember when you come back January, you still have to, if you are working, you still have to be going to work, still have to be incurring those expenses. You wait till the end of the month before you can get salary. Meanwhile, you have exhausted what should have carried you in January, in December. So coming into January, you're almost flat. You see the problem. You're almost flat, and then the pressure, the cost.
But nobody's putting them under pressure. I mean, do you think that is a dangerous mindset of people to think, oh, I've not spent anything all through the year, and think that, when it's December, that's it, I'm not going to spend all that.
It's a social pressure. It's a social pressure. Shemo. It's a social pressure, which you must adhere to. It's a social pressure.
Okay. So, what many sectors would you say perform best in December?
Now, what we call defensive stocks, you are talking of equities right now.
Yes.
Now, what we call defensive stocks, those ones, irrespective of the economic situation, people are likely to use or use their services or have their products. In December, we know that the consumer goods sector stocks perform very well.
Okay.
Because give and take, people must use the products like the breweries. You have normally have a higher revenue in December because people whether they have value or not, their sales normally increase. The same thing with Cadbury, Unilever, so on. So from that sector, that is a consumer goods sector. Yes, they normally do very well, but at times that doesn't mean that it's going to translate to their share price or value of their share prices or something like that. Because just having an increase in revenue doesn't mean that it has translated into sound investor sentiment that cannot drive their stock. But it is a defensive sector, and normally they do very well during national periods.
Yes, thank you for identifying the fact that there are certain periods for certain investments. So
even the ICT sector, like MTN, you see that high usage of data and voice during festive periods.
And there is this should I say, idea that real estate as well, real estate prices are a bit inflated during December. So would you advise people to support buy now or still wait to, real estate as a sector?
Not too established, because yes, you might think along that line, maybe those in the diaspora coming back would like to maybe buy, that will somehow likely to push up prices. But that is not to say that it is the right time for you to buy, especially for you to buy. The most important one, even if you are buying, you have to establish the value of the thing you are buying. As a key thing, establish the value. What value is it giving you? How do you recoup your investments? That's a key thing. As you have to study before we even buy, not because yes, you want to buy. Actually, yes, because of the need for it. Especially those coming from outside, and even though they tend to maybe say, okay, let me just buy now, or I needed to buy because they need it. So yes, but it is not to say that yes, this is the right time for you to buy. First of all, for me, my advice is that you have to establish the value of what you are buying. Okay. Are you buying at a very good price? That's that very, very key. If it's the property undervalued, what is return? It doesn't make sense if you buy a property worth 200 million, and you see another one that is equally selling at 200 million, and this one you can recover the investment maybe in 5 years. The other one you can recover investments in 10 years. So you now go for the one that you can recover in 5 years. That is a better purchase than the one that you can recover in 10 years.
Okay. What about dollar-denominated investments? Would you say December is a good time, or would you say December is so unstable with the market? Because December is almost a good time to opt for, purchasing FX.
It's somehow it's mixed. Yes, because of the pressure on dollar, definitely it's expected that the dollar appreciates. You get the point. And if Naira depreciates, your investment you are holding in the dollar-denominated asset, of course, will appreciate, will pay you. But you can't just place your hand on this. You can go on that assumption, and the Naira appreciates. How will not reduce the value of your holding? Take example, Eurobond now, 2-year Eurobond, which is issued at 6.5%. Now it's trading less than that 6.5%. Because actually that's 5.99%. So because of the pressure, people are demanding for it, and the yield will come down. So for dollar-denominated assets, it's a mix. Yes, you can use it to hedge, but that comes with caution.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Idika. We're about rounding up. But finally, what are financial traps you think Nigerians should avoid falling into this December? Financial traps.
Don't spend what you don't have.
You cannot even spend what you don't have.
Yeah, some people will borrow. Yes.
You borrow to do this in December.
I'm telling you, people do that.
There's what is the number one rule of borrowing. Maybe is that it must be able to give you ROI. What's the ROI with?
And I'm telling you that people borrowed for consumption. Oh, you're not aware?
I'm not aware.
Who borrow for consumption? I'm surprised that you are saying that. Who borrow for consumption? And I don't say that. Don't go out borrow and spend. Don't be an impulse buyer. Well, apart from that, don't be an impulse buyer. You might have the money, but because my friend is saying, okay, this was you would work with your budgets. Or according to your budgets, don't be an impulse buyer. So everything you should buy. So you must budget it. When it's not in your budget, don't go for it. And have in mind, have your projection. Okay, I have 5 million naira. I have 5 million naira. But I'm expecting to be paid 5 million naira or 2 million naira. Out of it, 2 million naira, I'm keeping aside 20% of it for investments. That's a good way to go. I'm keeping some percentage of it for investment. So no matter the pressure, you've already made that decision. 20% can be used when I'm putting it for investments. So you use about 80% to solve your problem. So whatever happens, if you don't go back and take that 20% you've kept. So that's another thing. So you have to really define yourself. What actually my goals, and how do I spread my income, investments, and consumption.
Like the fact that you even highlighted the fact that borrowing is not necessarily a bad thing. It's what you use it for. And then if the tables are turned, should people who have the means give out loans this December? Would you advise that?
Well, I don't understand by people who have the means.
Yeah, like if somebody comes to you, I come to you to borrow money, would you say it as financially smart for you to loan me money? As in,
I'm not a bank. I don't give people money.
Okay.
And if you are giving it on monetary angle, are you expecting the person to pay you back with interest?
Okay.
You are not a lender.
Okay.
But if outside this, you must give out what you can lose.
Oh.
You will not be able to recover.
Sure.
So be careful. Give out the ones you know. Okay. You might not be able to recover. That makes the whole thing necessary. Don't don't quarrel. You don't need to
Yes.
try to attack you or even kidnap you.
Waiting now. Best dog. Yeah, you borrow somebody money and the person want to kidnap you.
No, it depends on the amount involved. But no, it's not the reason why people are assassinate others. Yeah, we are looking at it from the micro level. But I'm telling you, when people give a chunk of money, they know they cannot pay, and they can resort to anything to ensure that they don't pay that.
That's so horrible. That's so horrible.
That's it. So my advice is don't give out what you know you cannot lose. In terms of maybe trying to assist or trying to give low to somebody. You're able to, once I can afford to lose and give it to you.
Finally, Mr. Idika, to the camera in 1 minute. Red flags investors should look out for this December and address the audience.
The red flag there is that, one, like I said, any investment that it does not give you a return that is above the inflation rate is not a good return.
Okay.
Even with the reverse inflation, which is about 16.02%, but if you remove the rebasing, you can see that the inflation rate should be around 27%. So even if you use that 7%, but any inflation that does not give you anything above the reverse inflation should not be considered because you are actually looking forward. And then don't invest where you're not likely to get it. That is the third one. Then the final one, make sure that there is always a premium you are getting from your investment outside the risk-free investment assets. Because if you're investing in, I have the opportunity to buy treasury bill, which is a government security, and which I know no matter what happens, government will pay me back. And now I have opportunity maybe to buy Dangote cement bonds. And this one, treasury is offering me 70%, and Dangote cement is offering me maybe 16%. Yeah. I will buy that. I will buy the federal government security and build that on Dangote because Dangote, anything can happen. I do my money. But when it comes to federal government, you might also your business. So these are the cases you have to consider. You want that is rich or moon. You want that can give you a return above inflation. And the one that we're not likely to lose.
Thank you so much, Mr. Idika. Added to the wrap on Everyday Money Matters, proudly brought to you by Nairametrics. At the end of the day, December is just like every other month. It has started 30 days. So don't kill yourself and go and break your bank and just because you want to impress in December. Till the next episode of Everyday Money Matters, proudly brought to you by Nairametrics.